native Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacher Man.
On the Straight Talk once more again with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. And we're here tonight, boy. And Big Papa, how you doing, Big Papa? Before I start talking, how you doing first?
I'm doing good, Bishop. How you doing?
Big Papa, if I was doing any better, I would be doing better. Where's our sidekick? Is our sidekick going to be with us tonight, Little Samuel?
Oh, yeah, trust and believe. You'll hear him.
All right. Listen, don't forget, we're around the world with yours through Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. Don't forget to like us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to make comments. And don't you dare forget to share. Listen, on our YouTube channel. Won't you do that? And don't forget to check us out each and every Sunday at 7 p.m. on WIGO 1570 on your AM dial. You can email us if you'd like to be on the program, you want to be a guest, you have questions you want us to address or issues you want us to address. All you got to do is email us at straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. And Miss C will certainly set up a time for you to be on with us to discuss anything you want to discuss. But Shanan, you know, we're going to talk about tonight. You know, we got the Olympics. We got the Olympics that's taking place. And the young man who won that race by the hair of his chin. Oh, boy. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, we're going to be on the other side. We're going to be on the other side with Shanan and myself right here on Straight Talk and around the world. We're going to Paris tonight. We'll be back on the other side.
All right.
After Miss C.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast or less. Hey, Bishop Greg. Hey, Pastor Shanan. Y'all looking good. Well, anyway. I have some information that I want to share with you, okay? And you may want to get a pen and paper because I'm going to give you some information about on voting and some deadlines, okay? But first, I want to talk to those who are affected by grief, like I am, in the loss of my husband. And you could be affected, affected by grief through the loss of a loved one or some other unfortunate circumstance. And if you have been invited to attend a conference entitled Victory Over Long-Term Grief. It's going to be August the 17th at 11 a.m. It's going to be a phone conference conducted by Dr. Anthony Stroman, a health educator. And you can join the conference by calling 267-807-9601, and then you have to enter the PIN number, and the PIN is 357209-342. If you'd like to talk to Dr. Stroman prior to the conference, you can call him at 678-907-3135. That's 678-907-3135 to reach Dr. Anthony Stroman in reference to the Victory Over Long-Term Grief Conference on August 17th at 11 a.m. And listen, also, you can come out and take your power back. Learn how to recognize fraudulent activity and scammers on August 17th at 12:30 p.m. at Restoration Christian Fellowship Center. And this is going to be in collaboration with the College Park Police Department. It's going to be held at 2451 Roosevelt Highway in College Park. And now I want to talk to you about something else that's very important, and that's voting. And we're coming up to the time where we're going to hold an election November the 5th. So I want you to be prepared and, just give you some information that will help you to be prepared. Now, August the 19th is the earliest day that you can request your absentee ballot for the November general election. And October the 7th is voter registration deadline. So if you haven't if you haven't registered already, then you should do so by October the 7th. And October the 7th is also the date that they will be mailing your absentee ballots to you if you have requested it. Like I said, August the 19th is the earliest date that you can start requesting your absentee ballot. Now, if you want all of the dates that relating to the election, you can go to the Secretary of State's office. That's where I got this information from, and you can print it off if you want to, or you can just save it and refer back to it as you need it. But the Secretary of State's office is their website is sos.ga.gov. That's GOV. That's sos.ga.gov. And that's to get your 2024 state election comprehensive calendar. And it has a lot of great information on there about the different deadlines. I just don't have time to tell you all of them, but I did want to tell you the most important ones right now is that August the 19th is the earliest day to request your absentee ballot for the November general election. And then October the 7th is when they will start mailing them out. And October the 7th is also voter registration deadline. And let me see, I had one other thing that I want to tell you about. October the 15th is the first day of early voting for the general election. And they're going to have, with the early voting, they're going to have Saturday voting and Sunday voting, and this is mandatory. And the Saturday and Sunday voting, Saturday will be October the 19th and the 26th, and the Sunday voting will be October 20th and the 27th, and that's to early vote in the general election. Okay? Now listen. If you would like for us to announce your event, you can email it to me at straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. And, oh gosh, I had a senior moment there. And listen, before we go, there are 4 things that I'd like for you to do. Okay? I would like for you to like us, subscribe to us, leave comments, and share us. Don't keep Straight Talk News to yourself. We want everybody to know about Straight Talk News with Bishop Greg Fann and Pastor Shanan Jones. And of course, me, Miss C. And I want to thank all of you all for all of your great comments and things that you have said about the broadcast, and me in particular. Thank you so much, and we love you all. And until next time, may the Lord God bless you real good. Bye now.
Boy, I tell you, Miss C is something else. That Miss C is something. She was giving out very important information about voting, the dates and the times, early voting dates, and when the election is going to be held, when you have to have your voter registration forms in. Those dates are important. Go out to the Secretary of State's office and look on the election, and when you look on the election, you can find out where your polling place is. You can find out are you registered to vote, or you still registered to vote. It's on the Secretary of State website. Do it, and do it when? Now. You can go out on the website. There's the Secretary of State of Georgia. And if you're in another state, probably can do the same thing. If you're listening from other states, just go out to your Secretary of State's office and get your information and check your information. And don't forget to register to vote, but don't forget to vote, because voting is important. All right. Shanan, let's talk around the world. Let's talk about Paris. Now, let's talk about what's going on in Paris, and let's talk about what's going on this. Yeah. We. Paris. Okay, Paris. Well, in Paris, the 24 Olympics is being held, and I'm proud to say that the United States has won 103 medals as of tonight. 103. They won 30 gold. 30. Thank you, Simone Biles and others. And they won 38 silver and 35 bronze, a total of 103 medals. And Mr. Norman Lyles, am I pronouncing it right? Noah Lyles. Noah, like Noah and the Ark, right? Noah Lyles.
That's right.
Noah has won that race by the have his chinny chin chin. But tonight, on Thursday night, he came in and he got a silver in the 200 meter. But listen, the United States is doing a great job in the Olympics, and we're just proud of all of them that's representing our country. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. All right, all right. So, Shanan, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world today in terms of this turn of event between Kamala Harris and Mr. Tim Walz now, and Mr. Vance and Mr. Trump. Let's look at the comparison. Let's look at comparison to the two teams. We got about 89 more days before election, right? A few more days before the Democratic Convention, correct, in Chicago. It's going to be held. Kamala Harris already has the nomination. She has a vote for the nomination. I think we need to explain to people, too, Shanan, in terms of the popular votes and the colony who actually their votes are what really makes a person the president. And so I'm going to turn that over to you. Just talk a little bit about that, and then we'll come back and talk about the two candidates and their vice president VP nominees.
Well, I'm gonna make it real quick because it becomes confusing to people. But what was determined in the Continental Colonies that there would be that there would be an electoral college. And so the popular vote is the vote that goes up. That's the popular vote. But then there are electors from the various states, and those electors to vote the way that the popular vote goes. But those electors put their vote in, and those electors make up the electoral college, and that becomes, if you think of it as the macro, the micro, that micro becomes the governing of the nation. So and so that's why there are certain numbers, a certain percentage of numbers that an elected official has to have, or a candidate has to have, to be able to actually the president. I think that number is 270.
It's 270.
If I'm not mistaken.
You're right. It's 270.
So yeah. So that electoral college makes it so Hillary Clinton won the popular vote in 2016, but Donald Trump won electoral college votes. And we you know what, we actually should do a segment really breaking that down, Bishop, and explaining that we don't want to get into weeds on that today, but right, that would be something that we would be able to understand how those delegates, how those votes of electors, those votes actually make up the vote that determines who the president is.
And the reason I wanted to just throw that and we'll talk about that is that's because that's what Donald Trump was trying to change when he was trying to get them to change those votes, those electors, who those electors would be, basically. And in terms of voting, whether or not he would have been the president in the previous election against President Biden. So we're going to talk more about that. I think you're right, Shannon. We need to have some in-depth discussion on how those electors are chosen to vote in terms of the college. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the candidates. Let's talk about the two campaigns. And we see that Kamala is in a blaze of fire. I mean, there's a lot of excitement behind her race. And I think Mr. Tim Walz, I think he brings a different kind of excitement to the race because it looked like Mr. Trump has lost his savor.
Yeah. They're clearly trying to find out how do you run against this team, and they did that perfectly because everybody said, well, they're going to Philadelphia, so it's got to be the governor of Pennsylvania. Then folks started talking about, well, there are some things the labor unions might not like because, he was for vouchers, and that's going to be a problem with the teachers union with his position on his pro-Israeli position. and his position on the students protesting and on calling for the president of the University of Pennsylvania to be fired, and so all of that is in 89 days. You don't want to be 90 days back then. You don't want to be dealing with all of that, trying to move forward, and you run against Donald Trump, and
Who's
so
a liar? Who's a liar? Who's a
right,
liar?
right. So yeah, exactly. So you had all that going on. And really, no one had knew. I mean, Wall was not one of the three. Where everybody was looking, was it going to be Kelly, or is it going to be Shapiro? Is it going to be? So they didn't know what. And then Walls comes up, and then they say, "Oh, we're so happy that it was. We're so happy it wasn't Shapiro." And then Walls came out, and he started hitting them, bam, bam, bam. And then they still like they don't know. Now they're trying to swift boat him. They're trying to say that he was not a sergeant, but that he was a master sergeant, and that they're saying he's lying about his record, that he left to go run for Congress, and did not go to war. The man was in the military for 20 years, and conflict for him to go and retire from the military, but he served, unlike Donald Trump, who said he could because he had healed bone spurs in his foot. So he said he couldn't serve because he had bone spurs. I wish that was a prerequisite for prayer. Apparently it wasn't. But so they don't know how, Bishop, to come after this. They don't know how to, how do we fight against this? Everything they're trying against, Kamala, that's silly. It doesn't work. It's not working.
They're weird. They're weird.
Well, Tim Walz came up to say they crazy and they racist. And, you can call them weird. I call them crazy. And then J.D. Vance goes in front of the vice president's plane the other day. Just, the Secret Service they landed. Of course, they all have secret. So he's able to walk over in front of the president and said, I just want to look at what my plane looks like. And I'm wondering if the vice president will come out and talk to me. I mean, just crazy. You ain't, you know what I mean? Like, that's not your role, J.D. Vance. You're the vice president. You're the second guy. That's for Trump to run over and try to talk to her. You're running against Tim Walz. So why are you trying to pick a fight with the vice president when you don't debate the vice president? She's not running against you. She's running against Donald Trump, who brought you along. But the missing cue is terrible. And it's beautiful at the same time.
Well, one of the things is that ministers in the state of Georgia, as you know, we have been working with pastors and ministers and lay leaders across the state to stand up for democracy, because democracy is on trial. And I heard Mr. Trump say it at his press conference today in terms of what they did. They used the 25th Amendment of the Constitution. That's how they forced Biden out. They told him, that we don't want to do this to you. I got friends who told me what they did. And what he did was he went on because he didn't want to be embarrassed by the 25th Amendment of the Constitution, because the Constitution is right. The Constitution, and we should abide by the Constitution. I said, oh, wait a minute. This is a man who don't care about the Constitution talking about we should abide by the Constitution. A man who a group of his peers said that he was guilty of 34 felony charges, that he's arguing that they was corrupt. Everybody's corrupt. Everybody's fake. It just one lie after another lie after another lie. Mama used to say when we were young, if you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie, then you got to tell another lie, and then you forgot the lie you told in the first place. And that's Donald Trump. He's just telling lies, and he's forgetting the lies he's telling. He's missing the strip. I mean, he's coming unglued. And people are quitting, and leaving, because they said this man is just a loose cannon. He's a loose cannon. So what we have and what we see is we see a person that's totally being unraveled by Kamala Harris and her team, which has done a remarkable job in less than 3 months. in less than 3 weeks, really.
Three
And
weeks.
they're moving, and they're moving, and they're getting more momentum and momentum and more momentum, and it's scaring him.
Almost $400 million raised.
You know what he said, Shannon, on that press conference? He said that he had more people at his January the 6th rally when they had the insurrection and the coup. He said he had more people there, and he referenced Dr. Martin Luther King and his Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech. And he said, "Oh, I really love Dr. Martin Luther King. I love him, but he didn't have as many people that I had. But they just only said I had 2,500 or so, or 25,000 or so, and he had a million people. I mean, this man is crazy. He just say anything that come out of his mouth, just anything that come out of his mouth. I mean, really? And you want him to be the what? The president again? Good God. Okay, I mean, and I know I'm on a tirade tonight, but it's just crazy, man. I mean, it's just really, really crazy.
And what's this fixation with how many people came out? One thing that he didn't get the popular vote in 2016. He didn't get, since he's measuring numbers, he didn't get the millions of people that voted for Hillary Clinton. And then he didn't get the popular vote in 2020 when he lost. So what is this fixation with numbers? What is your, Mr. Trump, what are you running for? What are you going to do? What is your policy?
He's running to stay out of jail. He's running to stay out of jail. He's running to stay out of jail.
You know what? I think the Supreme Court is going to make sure he stays out of jail. That's a point. I had looked at this thing and said, well, this man's running to stay out of jail, but the Supreme showed me that they ain't going to let him go to jail. And that's really Project 2025. That's already happening. They said that we want to get rid of the bureaucrats, and we want to make sure that we're replacing with our own people. But they were able to hold back presidential appointments to the Supreme Court, Obama, and they were able to put 3 of their own on the court, McConnell, and now they have basically that Supreme Court is a activist Supreme Court that is really doing and creating air cover for the ground game of Project 2025. So he could be running to stay out of jail because he is still facing some felonies, Bishop. So you're right about that. But what does he stand? Like, what are their position? What is his? He gets up and talks about crowds and ugly people, this stupid person, and she's a low IQ person and all of that. And at the end of the day, when I have to go buy eggs and bacon and chicken and through school and all that, what do I care about somebody's IQ? What do I care about crowd size? What are we talking about? If you have 34 felonies, at least, and you're running for president, at least look at, you already have a very big malaise over you. You already have a cloud over you. So at least talk intelligently. But he won't even do that.
You can't talk intelligent when you don't have any issues, Shannon. You can't.
So he's a criminal.
He doesn't have any substance, Shannon. He doesn't have any substance. Only thing he knows, he's like the bully at school who knows how to joan, who knows how to jank folks, right? He knows how to do that. He knows how to get people to laugh because he's making critical comments about people, and he knows how he's good at that. He's a master at that, but he has no other substance. He has nothing else. None.
Bishop. None. Did you hear what he said about Willie Brown and Kamala Harris? Now, when Kamala Harris was a young prosecutor before she ran for district attorney, the Speaker of the House of the California Assembly was separated from his wife, and he and Kamala Harris had a relationship, and he was separated from his wife. They dated, And this man goes on, Trump says, well, Willie Brown, he knows her real well. I know he knows her real well. I'm like, fool, you came close to being charged with rape, okay? And you have said on national television that that women will let you grab them by the what.
Uh-huh.
So why would you ever be talking about someone's sexual proclivities? Who makes you the moral authority?
When you have no
You're a
morals.
whoremonger.
Yeah,
So
did,
it's crazy. I would quit too.
did,
Because let me tell you something.
yeah,
This
yeah.
man is not only gonna lose, he's gonna lose badly.
Yeah, because he's losing it. People of his own party, they saying this ain't it. This too embarrassing. When you just said that about him, and his immoral conduct, and he wants to talk about somebody else's immoral conduct, and you have these Christian groups, Christian nationalists that's supporting him, who's supposed to be amoral themselves, and they still support a person that has done all these more immoral things. And his wife, he said today, they said, "Where's your wife?" Well, she's gonna have a press conference. She's gonna have a press conference, and she's gonna speak about how she came to this country, whether or not she's naturalized or what have you. But you keep talking about immigrants coming into the country, and your wife is an immigrant. And you have Mr. Van's wife, who is not of a natural origin of as a United States citizen. I mean, her parents may have been, and I don't know, but I'm just saying, I'm speaking with no information in terms of her past, how she got here. But he's talking about his wife, Melania, because the question was asked directly: is your wife? Did she come here as a naturalized citizen, or how does she come here? And he like, well, she's going to do a press conference about that herself. She's going to talk about that herself. I mean, really and truly, man, this man has lost it. He has lost it. He's lied so much, he's just lost it. And he is the biggest liar. He is the biggest liar that I've ever heard from, other than another guy. I ain't gonna call his name, but he's a big liar too. But I mean, when he opened his mouth, you just said lying. The commentators saying lying. They ain't even fact checking no more. They're just saying lying, because
But
everything was another
when
lie.
when he goes to the NABJ and they have to announce that they have a fact checker, whoever said that, a president comes to a former president comes to a university to speak, and they say, and we have fact checkers. Wow, what does that say? That's kind of like, it's like, somebody moving the neighborhood and they send out notices to everybody that this person is some type of an offender, and you have to know about them. Like, we have to, if he's gonna come speak, we got to have a fact checker. I mean, I mean, when you think about it, it's absolutely crazy. But think about what the Democrats are not doing. Like, they're not doing this. How did your wife come to this country? Who sent your wife to this country? Did they send her, or did she come naturally? And did you meet her and work some channels to be able to get her over here? Or did she just decide to come? Or is she legally here? Or, I mean, could you imagine, all of that? Like, is she really, some Eastern spy thing that in line and is watching you? Is she a double agent? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they're doing and saying. And the Democrats are not trafficking in that foolishness.
No, they're not.
They are running against Donald Trump's record. And that's how you run a race.
And running on issues, things that are relevant to the American people, right?
Yeah.
Working families, getting good quality education, abiding by the Constitution and the rules of law. I mean, they're running on real everyday issues. And I want to just say this to those that are listening that feel like, well, we got a bad economy. Everything is high. If you read and saw the stock market, you will find out that things are high across world. It ain't just in the United States. They got high economy everywhere. So it's not just the United States. So we got to understand the prices are high and things are high, and that's something that's hitting everywhere. But we got to look at how we're going to control this stuff based on we come out of a pandemic for 2 years, and businesses was closed down, places was closed down. They were losing money. So when they came back, they had to gain the money back that they've lost. And so by they're losing money, and that's what they talking about, the 1%. The 1%, they going to look out for themselves. So yeah, the price is going to go up because they going to make their profit. And how do they make their profit? Out for the consumer. And that's a fact. But Shanan, we're going to get ready to get out of here now because our time has been well spent right here on Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. If you like what we're doing, like us, subscribe, make comments, and share. And check out our YouTube channel. And check out us on each and every Sunday on WIGO 1570 on your AM dial with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. And you want to be on the program, all you got to do, if you have comments and stuff you want to say, we'll welcome point, counterpoint. Shanan loves point, counterpoint. He'll love to debate you. Hey, that's Straight Talk News at 1362 at gmail.com. Until next week, it ain't been nothing but what, Shanan? Straight Talk.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922 at Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.